Alright, welcome back. So we talked about HMIs a little bit in the last video with some slides. Now we're going to set up an HMI using our PLCs. So I've got one of the PLCs here, right? This is the same one we've been using in lecture to do some demos, whatnot. And I'll set up an HMI. I don't have a physical HMI here, but I'll set up the emulator. It's the same process when you're using one of the ones in lab. So from Studio 5000, we're going to start a new project. Take a minute. What kind of project? So if I was programming a PLC, I'll use Logix here. I want to use a view, and here I'm picking that program. So we'll do a demo HMI as the file name. So you would set up, if this is not the same one, you could pick whichever values you need, which version it is, etc. So now it'll take a minute or so to load this. Sometimes it's helpful to have the Logix file open at the same time. So I'm going to, if I don't completely bog this down, I'm going to go open up a Logix file for this. So I'm just going to launch another Studio 5000 instance. And I'm going to open up, let's see, I think I was using this one to map to earlier. And I won't show this on this screen as we go through. There it is. New one loading. So this one shows View Designer. That's going to be my panel. Logix Designer is the one where I'm actually programming the PLC. Alright, so my Logix loaded first. Just make sure this is what I want. I've got a handful of things in here. I've got a timer, I've got some system bits, etc. Alright, so I'm going to put that over on another screen. And did my panel view ever load up? Yes, my View Designer is still loading. It also went on the other screen here. So let me shrink that down. Alright, so I will need to tell it which project properties. So I want to tell it what controller I'm using. So if it's not clear, you can put those in there, what Logix file number it is. So I'm just going to say demo PLC here, Logix file. So you have, this is the PLC that I already have loaded up. Let's see, I'll grab that same one I have there, and let's see, I will map that on the same one there. Hopefully that's all clear. Alright, so this is what will show up on my screen. Alright, so this is the view of the screen itself. So I could add, say, a button on here. So I can drag and drop that on there. Now it just says button. That's not super helpful, right? But I can change it over on the side panel. Can make that something more useful. So maybe I want this to be a start button. Alright, so there, now it says start. Might want to change the color of that, like we were just talking about the making things a sensible color. So I can change the fill. Pardon me. Maybe I want that to be a nice green. There we are. Now that button is just sitting there. It doesn't really do anything. I may want to add an event to that. So when I press on that, what am I going to do? I don't want that. Let me go back up. So get rid of that. Add event. Don't want animations. Navigation menu. Should be here. Oh, am I still in? Oh, I'm just in the whole thing. There we go. So add event. Now I want to change this button behavior. Sorry, I was just kind of in the whole screen as a whole there. So what do I want to do when I push this button? So I could set a tag to 1 on release. So once I let go of the button, that would set that value to 1. I could set it to 0. I could flip that around, that when I push it, it's on. When I let go, it's off. That'd be like a momentarily close switch. Normally open, momentarily close. Or it could be 0 on press, 1 on release, like a momentary normally closed switch. This would be normally open switch. I think I said that backwards just a minute ago. I could toggle it. I could write a tag. I could increment something, etc. So there's a whole bunch of different pieces here. So I might just set this to be toggle a tag, touch only, and then it asks me what tag am I going to toggle that. So this should be communicating with my PLC now. So as I look in here, here's my demo PLC. Should have that program. So I look at my controller. I had some system bits from that program. So maybe I want to toggle on this data integer. Expand that out. So maybe I want to toggle the red light on when I hold that button. Right. So now I'm directly toggling that switch on. So let's see what we've got. So let's emulate this. So far I've only just added one button. Not super exciting. I'm going to verify my project first of all. So like compiling your code in Arduino or similar. So far taking a little while. No warnings, fantastic. So we'll go to emulate. So this was a similar process for when you actually have a physical hard machine here. It's downloading to the emulator. Once this finishes, I'll see on screen an image of the HMI screen itself. So screen on screen. There it is. It's loading now. So this would be like what the HMI itself looks like. And I might see if I can get this PLC to behave properly here. Oh, there we go. Alright, so we'll see if this works. I don't know if you can see the screen very well. I might have to toggle that, but I would say hit the start button. It should toggle that red button on, toggle it off. So pretty simple there. I didn't have to change anything in my PLC code. Alright, let me make this a little bigger for you to see. Oh, I don't want to stall the bricks. So let's switch that over to video capture. So here's my video, right? I'm going to hit the start button. There it is. You can see the red lights come on. There it's off. Super exciting. Fantastic, huh? So now I'm going to go back to this guy. So that's toggling that bit on and off. Not too bad, right? Maybe I want to have a stop button. I could toggle that onto something else. I might also have, so these common ones here are down in the lower left. Maybe I want numeric input, right? So I could put this here, right? What do I want to call that? There's a value. So my input, where is that writing to? Oh, that's not going there. So what am I going to write this to? So this would be writing to that controller tags. Oh, I don't have the thing I wanted in here. So I might have to adjust this here, but I could put in, let me see how quickly this flips back and forth. I'm going to put in a new timer. So here's my Logix folder. So I'm going to go to my controller tags. And oh, I did have a timer. Why did that not pull that? Timer. So I've got a bunch of timers here. Is this the right one? So going back to my project, I want to see what I have for project properties. Is that the same one? Logix profile, timer demo. Oh, that was last week. Okay, that's not the one I want. I think this is, which file did I have? This was called in class. Okay, so I'm going to switch that over to in class. So we have there. So in class, this is now my in class, so I should have that timer as my emulator. I'm going to get rid of my emulator. Here we are. So it might need a second to reset this guy. Now looking at my, there it is. So there's timer 2. Maybe I want to set this to, I'll use timer 2 0, and I want to set this to my pre-value. So I'm going to set my value on that when I click into this guy. So there, I'm going to write in a value for the length of that timer. Animations, I don't make any animation. Might be helpful over here now to tell us what this thing is. So I'm going to put a text display, drag that over there. Timer set value. This is milliseconds. And let's see, we'll add in another, do a numeric display. Put that down at the bottom. And I'll put in a text display on top of that. accumulated time. I'll leave that in milliseconds as well. So maybe I wouldn't want this to be in milliseconds, but we'll talk about how to do that in a moment. So what value am I filling in there? Go back to my tags. So this is the same timer 2 0, and I want this to be my accumulation, right? So I should be able to grab that. Fantastic. So let's see if we can emulate this now. Verify quick. Not so quick. And let me upload this file. Oh, I should add a file to this. Should add using that timer for something. I do have timer done. Okay, fantastic. So that's there. I am using timer 2 0 on this guy. I'm turning something on. Let me actually make this something more exciting than just a system bit. Let's use local output. I don't think I'm using the blue light for anything in this file currently, so I want to go to the values. This is 1. Give me my blue 0 1. Yes. So I'll save this guy. I'll upload that. So again, these dialog boxes are from the perspective of the PLC or HMI itself. So as I say, download, the PLC is downloading the file, or the HMI is downloading the file from the computer. If I'm talking about it from the computer perspective, I'm uploading it to the PLC. Uh-oh, it's not wanting to connect for me very quickly here. You see some communications blinking on the screen here. Hopefully that will come through. So my project is verified. Just jump back here. Go to emulate the project. See if this will work. Come back. This guy still says connecting to device. Okay, so I'm not. Oh, because they didn't tell it what. Offline communications. Alright, troubleshoot my communications on this guy. I'm getting a nice blinky light on here. So I'm doing, 10.100. I don't want that one. I want 10.10. So let's see. Follow that. Fantastic. There it is. Alright, so there we go. There's our timer. Downloading that. Fantastic. So going back to remote run. Turning this guy off. Uh-oh. Not his. So go offline. Go back online and see if I can force that to remote run. I do see an I/O light blinking on my PLC here, so there may be an issue. I/O not responding. I may need to. Oh, I've got another blinky light here. I may need to reset the controller. Yeah, it's faulted. Can I clear the faults? Clear faults. There we go. Try going online. Not having high hopes at this point. We'll see. Yeah, it's gonna fault out on that. Let's see what we've got on here. So here's my. So right now it's showing if this was connected to the PLC, it is pulling that value in 5 seconds for that timer, right? That's what we saw on this timer, right? The preset there is 5,000. If I wanted to change that, I should be able to open this up and say, okay, I want that to be 10,000. What's starting that timer? If I go back up there, I had some system bits. Just had piles of system bits, so it's not ever going to toggle on unless I turn one of these guys to be a system bit. So toggle that. I should get my red light to come on and off. Alright, so I'm still faulted over here. We'll come back and troubleshoot that. So let's go back to the HMI view here. So what we were setting out to do, we were trying to display information. So I had take some input here, get that. You know, I was trying to pull that value in, so it looks like that should be working what I want, right? That's just the whole pre-double integer value. And then here I was displaying a value, that timer accumulated value. If I wanted those in other sets, I could do some math operations on that, either in the PLC or in the HMI. If I wanted to have a stop button, I could add that the same way as I added that other one. There's some other things I can add into that, so I could add a graph of something. So let's see if I can grab a bar graph. Right, so if I could set this as showing the duration left of that timer or something, the accumulated value this way rather than so the min-max value, what I'm pulling for that, etc. There's a few other plots of that in here. I could navigate to other screens. So I only have one screen right now, but I could add a new screen to that. Right, so here's my user-defined screen, so I could add another screen. So this is a brand new screen. So there I have nothing here. So I need to provide a link to get from screen 1 to screen 2. So usually I would do that with a button. Oh, that's not the ones I want. So I want this kind of button. And this is where I can get a little messy here, right? So I could call this screen 2. And I'm going to use that as a navigation. So when I click that, button behavior, I want to navigate to a screen on release. So when I touch it, what screen am I going to go to? I want to go to screen 2. Fantastic. Now when I get to screen 2, let's see if we can emulate this quickly. Still downloading to my fake HMI. There it's coming. Alright, so I can navigate to do my start again. It's going to turn on that red light. Could enter my values. Here's 4,000. My accumulated time hasn't started because those were all bits. I can see here I'm not connected to my HMI or my PLC. Now if I go to screen 2, now I'm on screen 2 and I'm kind of stuck here, right? I can't get back to screen 1. Believe this is only part of the HMI screens here, the emulator. So anytime you're making a new screen, I'd make a way to get back to it, whether you have maybe you have multiple screens here and you have one as a home screen that has like navigation to all the different things, and then on each subsequent screen you can just have a button that goes back to home. So if I go here, drop a button here and call this home and add an event. So I button behavior, navigate to a screen on release, and go to that user-defined screen, screen 1, right? So I could go back to that and put that on every screen after that. And I could also like copy these screens in here. Thought I had that there. Let's paste another one. So now I have a third screen that also has that home button on it. So I could add in, I don't know, put a numeric display on this guy, and on this one I'll add another button. Right, so you can see the difference now between those two. There's screen 3, screen 1, screen 2 so I can navigate here or here with those. So either one of those home buttons should take me back to that home screen, which was my screen 1 here. Right, so I think that's enough for setting up HMI screens. I'll see if I can troubleshoot my faulted controller here and demo some of this in a minute, particularly that timer. I think that's useful information. And then we'll go from there. So if I can get that, I'll come back and make another video. Otherwise, we'll see you in lab.